Hello everyone and welcome back to our journey through Genesis. Today, we're diving into chapter 29, a story packed with romance, deception, and the messy, complicated realities of family life. We pick up with Jacob, who has just fled from his brother Esau and is now arriving in the land of his mother's people. So Jacob continues his journey and comes to the land of the eastern peoples. He looks up and sees a well in a field with 3 flocks of sheep lying near it. Now, this wasn't just any well, it was the main water source for the local shepherds, and a heavy stone covered its mouth. The rule was simple. All the flocks had to gather before the stone was rolled away, so everyone could water their sheep at once. Jacob, being the new guy in town, walks up to the shepherds and asks, "My brothers, where are you from?" They reply, "We are from Haran." This is exactly where he was headed. Hopeful, he asks, "Do you know Laban, Nahor's grandson?" They say, "Yes, we know him." Jacob presses on, "Is he well?" And they respond, "Yes, he is, and here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep." Just then, Jacob sees Rachel approaching with her father's flock, as she was a shepherdess. The moment Jacob lays eyes on his cousin Rachel, daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, something clicks. He's moved. Without waiting for the other shepherds, he goes over, single-handedly rolls the massive stone from the well's mouth, and waters his uncle Laban's sheep. This was no small feat. It was a display of strength and eagerness, a gesture meant to impress. After this grand act, Jacob kisses Rachel and begins to weep aloud. It's a powerful moment of release. He's finally safe, among family, after a long and perilous journey. He explains to Rachel that he is her father's relative, the son of Rebekah. Overjoyed, Rachel runs to tell her father, Laban. When Laban hears the news about his sister's son, Jacob, he rushes out to meet him. He embraces Jacob, kisses him, and brings him into his home. It's a warm, welcoming scene. Jacob recounts everything that has happened, and Laban declares, "You are my own flesh and blood." And with that, Jacob stays with Laban for a whole month. After a month of Jacob working for him, Laban brings up the topic of payment. He says, "Just because you are my relative, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me, what shall your wages be?" This seems fair, right? A boss asking his employee to name his price. Now Laban had 2 daughters. The older was named Leah, and the younger was Rachel. The scripture tells us that Leah had weak eyes, but Rachel had a lovely figure and was beautiful. And Jacob, he was completely in love with Rachel. So, he makes Laban an offer. "I'll work for you for 7 years in return for your younger daughter, Rachel." 7 years is a long time to work for anything, let alone a bride. But Jacob is so deeply in love that he's willing to do it. Laban agrees, saying, "It's better that I give her to you than to some other man. Stay here with me." The deal is struck. Jacob begins his 7 years of labor. And here it is one of the most romantic lines in the entire Bible. So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. Think about that. 7 years, over 2,500 days of hard work, felt like nothing because his heart was set on Rachel. It's a beautiful testament to the power of love and devotion. Finally, the 7 years are up. Jacob goes to Laban and says, "Give me my wife. My time is completed, and I want to marry her." Laban obliges. He throws a great wedding feast and invites everyone from the area. The celebration is underway, the vows are presumably exchanged, and the night comes. But that evening, Laban does something shocking. He takes his older daughter Leah and brings her to Jacob instead of Rachel. In the darkness, and likely with the help of a heavy veil, a common custom at the time, Jacob is deceived. He doesn't realize the switch until the next morning. When morning came, there was Leah. Imagine the shock, the confusion, the betrayal Jacob must have felt. He confronts Laban. "What is this you have done to me? I served you for Rachel, didn't I? Why have you deceived me?" This is a massive turning point. The deceiver, Jacob, who tricked his own father and brother, has now been deceived himself in a remarkably similar way, through a case of mistaken identity involving a family member. Laban's excuse is a cultural one. He says, "It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one." A convenient custom he failed to mention 7 years prior. But then he offers a new deal. Finish this daughter's bridal week, then we will give you the younger one also, in return for another 7 years of work. So Jacob is caught. He has to complete the week-long celebration with Leah. And after that week, Laban gives him his daughter Rachel to be his wife as well. Jacob is now married to 2 sisters. And what's the cost? He must work for Laban for another 7 years. 14 years of labor, all stemming from a single deception. The chapter ends on a somber note. It says that Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah. This favoritism creates a painful and difficult family dynamic right from the start. But the story also adds an interesting twist. When the Lord saw that Leah was not loved, he enabled her to conceive, but Rachel remained childless. And so begins the rivalry between the 2 sisters. A story of jealousy, longing, and the search for love and validation that will shape the future of an entire nation. The consequences of Laban's deception and Jacob's own past actions unfold in the complex relationships of his growing family. What a chapter! It teaches us about love, patience, the pain of deception, and how our actions often come back to us in unexpected ways. It sets the stage for so much more to come. Thank you for joining me for this deep dive into Genesis 29. I hope it gave you some food for thought. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next chapter. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care.